Hello everybody, I'm here with Sam Meya. We're on the beautiful shores of Lake Malawi here in Sam's home country of Malawi. I've known Sam for about 8 years and have been fortunate enough to get to visit with him the last couple of days, and he's generously taken me around from the capital down south to his home area around Blantyre, and now we've come up further to the middle of the country around Lake Malawi and just seen a lot of amazing things. It's an amazing country, and I just feel so fortunate to have been able to spend a few days with Sam and wanted to share with everybody a little bit about what's happening here in this country, because it's such a wonderful place full of wonderful people. So Sam, tell me a little bit about yourself and about the work that you're doing.
I'm firstborn in my family, and being a firstborn, we're almost 8 of us, but 2 passed on, and we are now remaining 6. With the remaining 6, we are scattered in Malawi. Some are living in the central region, and some are with my parents at home, but still some are in South Africa. That's briefly about my background, but in terms of work, I've worked in a number of organizations. Currently, I'm working with the Oxfam in a humanitarian program in one of the districts in the southern part of Malawi, which we call Phalombe. In this district, it has a population of about 258,000 people, and with the Cyclone Idai that hit Malawi, I'm there to respond to the cyclone that is to the people that are in Phalombe. The response that we are doing in Phalombe is multi-dimensional in terms of the approach, because it's a livelihood support, and within that livelihood support, we are doing a number of things. In terms of work, we are supporting the communities with WASH interventions, food security, livelihoods in terms of supporting them with the cash, and we are also establishing some village savings and loans, and we are also doing gender protection and safeguarding. In terms of my work in Phalombe, I'm heading the office there in Phalombe as a food manager, working with a number of staff. And most of the staff that I'm working with are from different backgrounds in terms of their experience, work experience.
You mentioned this idea of WASH. What does WASH stand for, and how did you get involved in that particular area?
WASH is water, sanitation, and hygiene, but we briefly call it WASH. In WASH, there are several components. The first component in WASH is water supply, and the second component is the hygiene part. And the third component is the sanitation part. So all these 3 components form WASH, but in most cases they go as a package when we are approaching the communities. In water supply, we supply the water to communities in form of, it could be mostly as the current work that I'm doing, we are supplying communities with clean water through boreholes. That's the deep well, the deep wells, and on sanitation we are providing them with the latrines. Our part is mainly to do with the provision of slabs and iron sheets and the superstructure, because these people they are traumatized with the cyclone. So in the process, we have to ease their trauma through such provisions. And on hygiene promotion, we are doing a promotion in terms of promoting reduction of diarrhea diseases, because as the cyclone hit the area, many people, their sanitation facilities were washed away, including houses. So there was a point that people could get diarrhea diseases, but to our gain, we didn't witness anybody suffering from diarrhea. And for me to come into WASH, I remember when I got first engaged in the government, I was doing a number of things, that included a number of programs, but my interest was something to do with maybe infrastructure, because I mostly headed the software part, whereby mostly would go out, train communities. It was really something that I wanted to diversify. Then in the process, I saw myself falling into WASH, and now I am into WASH, dating way back 2005, 2004, up to now. I'm into WASH, and now I've gone to a number of courses in WASH, particularly the designing of water schemes in terms of gravity fed, designing and manufacturing of different technologies of pumps. In terms of sanitation, I've done low-cost sanitation, of which we have to give people low-cost sanitation facilities that are durable and sustainable.
When I first met you, you were working on your master's degree in the U.S. and one of the things that you were focused on in your research, because it frustrated you, was the kind of lack of coherence and strategy around water points. These international agencies would come in, build a water point, build a borehole, but then there was no plan for maintenance or upkeep, and a lot of them were then neglected or simply stopped working because there wasn't a maintenance plan. Have you seen that improve in the last 6 or 7 years, and is there anything that you've been able to do to make an improvement in that area?
Yeah, on that one, I think it's an area that was of my major concern, looking at how costly the boreholes are, or how costly the water supplies are. And you find that water supply, you give the people, and 2-3 years down the lane, they are broken down and the system is down. So that was really my major concern. And now, coming from my master's, we try to advocate for some changes within government, and Yes, there is some improvement, though at a slow pace, because even the government, they are saying they don't have much resources that they can support this. And as some NGOs teamed up, and what we devised as NGOs was, one, we established the use of area mechanics as one way of mitigating the sustainability process. And also we managed to have the supply chain, and also we are promoting each and every water point to have a committee, of which that committee works in terms of looking at the facility, so that the facility is maintained, the facility is repaired, and there is water throughout the year. At first, we were witnessing breakdowns of maybe 2-5 days, but now it was reduced to less than an hour, so that once a water point has broken down, it shouldn't stay more than an hour without being maintained, because the fear is people will return back to their old sources, and they will get some diseases, particularly diarrheal diseases. So that the battle is still on, and we are still fighting so that the government takes steps to make to all the districts in Malawi, so that all the districts adopt this. I know with support of the NGOs, we developed the operation and maintenance manual, of which this operation and maintenance manual is the government adopted it, but for them to put it into use is where the problem is now. And now we are trying our best that the government takes it on, and in all the committees that we have in Malawi, they get it, they get them, and they implement this.
Yeah, and even an hour is significant, because I think some of the water points that we visited yesterday have a membership or a usership of around 2,000, 2,500 people per well. So if that's broken down for any period of time, you're talking about literally thousands of people who may have to travel multiple kilometers to get a fresh water source at that point.
Yeah, that's something that we are looking at, and in the district where I'm working, they are lucky because we're also using some international standards, whereby people shouldn't travel almost more than 500 meters to fetch water. But still, we have some shortfalls on that one, because most of the water points that we, like the water point that we saw yesterday, we still have some problems in terms of people who are accessing one water point. It's a huge number, over 500 something families, households. It's a big number really, and that has to be put in control. And by controlling that, we mean we should make water available to communities at their less than 500 meters. I think that one, if we can manage that one, then we will achieve our goal.
One of the things you also mentioned when we were in the villages yesterday is that some of the more successful systems have greater community management, community ownership. Say a little bit more about some of those systems.
Yeah, most of the water points that we have will have better community management, and the ones that are sustainable, and the operation is also they are well conversant with how to operate and how to maintain. And most of these water points that have such committees, vibrant committees, they are the ones that are really going forward. Most of the committees that we established are committees. First, we have to mobilize the communities, have them trained. We provide them with the training of almost the first training. When we are drilling a new borehole, we have to train them what we call pre-drilling training, whereby the communities should be involved in siting, the actual drilling and post-drilling activities. And after the pre-drilling training, we offer them what we call post-drilling training. The pre-drilling training it lasted 3 days. The post-drilling training with 5 days, and after that we come with the mentorship, that we continue with the mentoring such committees, so that all the committees have the skills, and we make sure that they have the operation and the maintenance fund, of which the operation and maintenance fund, we request them to have most of the time spare parts readily available. And once they have the spare parts readily available, the other monies, we encourage them that they establish what we call savings and loans within their village, so that the money increases in terms of the interest that they gain, and the capital. And you'll see to it that we encourage them to have spare parts, particularly the first wearing spare parts. And on the other hand, with they have the agreement with the area mechanics, and the area mechanics do come to visit the borehole. There are two types of agreements. There is a service contract and there is a maintenance contract. In the service contract, most of the mechanics come once a month to visit the borehole, and once the water point, they see that the water point is operating okay, they just give some advice to the communities. And this maintenance agreement is where the area mechanic has to maintain the borehole, and in this contract, whenever some hardware is needed, the committee is asked to go and procure the spare parts at the nearest supplier. That is the use now, the supply chain coming in, and we have made sure that the supply chain is close to the community. They shouldn't go long distances to fetch for spare parts, but in most cases it's maybe the longest distance they can go would be 2 kilometers or less than that, so that they source the spare parts. That makes us the 1 hour broken period reduced further, maybe to some minutes, if that is possible.
Yeah, I know you said the first community we visited yesterday, the engineer was actually within walking distance. You could almost see her home at a distance from where the water point was. So that means you have very rapid access to the engineer.
Yeah.